Sunday morning. We're in a very interesting situation coming into this one. Again, tyre strategy is going to be very, very important. You have to remember that there's going to be a few drivers that are going to be saving their freshest set of tyres until race 3. Others will be going on the fresh set now to maximise a reverse grid position. So expect the likes of Luca Samalisto and Enzo Deligny on the front row of this reverse grid race to put fresh tyres on now to really maximise a chance for the race victory. But the man who's going to be starting on this position of the starting grid, P8, is the man who leads the championship by only 2 points coming into this race. Chiano Al-Azhari, the boy from the Palm Jumeirah. He is a Dubai national, loves it here, has been so impressive over his karting career. Now this is a chance to do something that no driver from the United Arab Emirates has ever done: win the national F4 title. It's been very close up to this point so far. He's got a big pressure cooker building with the likes of Kian Nakamura, Berta and Freddie Slater always ever present and close to him. It's going to be a really interesting situation. In fact, P8 of the grid is actually going to be Freddie Slater. Chiano Al-Azhari is going to be there in P4 on the grid. So let's walk our way down and give you a bit of an idea as to how much of a pressure cooker he's going to have. Let's have a quick word with Matthew Norman of the UAE Racing team. Matthew,
good morning.
This is a big moment, not just for you, but obviously for Chiano. What's the mood in the team like this morning?
We're very excited. We put our head very high, very proud of the team's achievements, and I think Chiano this morning can turn it from fourth into a win, which will then mix it up for the championship going into the final round. So we're confident.
This is the culmination of a massive program from UAE that's been going on for quite some time now to build up young drivers, not just from the world of karting, but in esports, and people from the United Arab Emirates who are in their 20s and 30s who want to go racing for the first time.
Yeah, the program is very diverse. It's esport, it's karting, from bambinos to minis to juniors to seniors to European road tax racing, and obviously Formula 4. So we're looking for the UAE talent. We're out there doing it, and it just shows you the program is working.
It's amazing, isn't it? We wait 15 years for a decent driver from the United Arab Emirates to emerge at the top end, and now we've got two of them out there battling for the title.
And, you couldn't make that story up, could you? It's fantastic for the country, and we're all very proud for the UAE and obviously for Yas Marina Circuit to support this program. So it's awesome.
Fantastic. Well, we hope you're all still smiling by the end of today. Good luck, Matthew. Have a good one.
Thanks very much. Take care.
Perfect. And they have done some amazing work over the years at UAE Racing to really build up this team, to build up this opportunity for the youngsters from the country. Got some amazing talent on the F4 UAE grid as the drivers now make their way to the starting grid. There goes Luca Samalisto. Big pressure on the Race GP driver from Finland to emulate Tukka Tapanen and go for the win himself in F4 UAE. This is the grid slot reserved for the championship leader, Chiano Al-Azhari. Going to be very exciting to watch him. He lines up on the second row of the grid alongside the young Latvian talent, Tomas Stolchamanis. Single-seater fans might not know his name yet, but I promise you by the end of 2024, that is a name that's going to be very paramount on many people's lips. He was an absolute superb driver in the world of karting in Europe, and now that he's in the Prema team with an opportunity to shine, he'll be strong. Here comes the man of the moment, Chiano Al-Azhari, the boy from Dubai. He literally lives a few miles down the road from this very circuit, and it's a big opportunity for him to go for the title. The team know exactly what they need to do. He's in a confident mindset as well. From fourth on the grid with his championship opposition behind him on the grid by a few places, this is an opportunity for him to increase his lead before the crucial final race of the championship this afternoon. It's a great opportunity. All they need to do is just essentially go through the motions for these 28 minutes and an extra lap, and they should be in a position to have a decent enough cushion to take into the third race, to have a little bit of confidence. But it's F4 UAE in 2024. Anything can happen. It's really going to be a tough race to predict, especially when you've got the likes of Kian Nakamura, Berta and Rashid Al-Daheri all the way back on the 6th row after their 1-2 performances yesterday, the reverse grid race, the top 12 being reversed. Freddie Slater drove beautifully yesterday to get himself into the top 5. He now goes off P8 on the grid. He's definitely gained some points back, but he will really struggle to gain more from 8th on the grid. That doesn't mean he won't, but it'll certainly be a real challenge. Deegan Fairclough from 5th on the grid is definitely worth a watch, as too is Jules Caranta in P6. So there's plenty of opportunities to get excited about the race we're about to have. Now, one of the drivers that has returned to the championship to finish things off here this weekend over at the AGI Sport team. We saw her at the start of the year. She had to disappear and go and do some bits and pieces for the F1 Academy, but she's back here in Dubai. I caught up with her on Friday. Let's have a word with AGI Sport racer Carrie Schreiner of Germany. Carrie Schreiner, good to see you back in the UAE once again. We missed you last time out, so good to see you return. How have things been going in general for you?
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to be back here. The weather is quite nice compared to the other places I've been the last couple of weeks. But things are going well for me. I improve every session, every test, every weekend, so I think I have quite a good preparation.
And you've been here working entirely with the AGI Sport team, which is new to the UAE from Australia. How have they been settling in, and how have you been finding your feet here?
The work with the team is really nice. We also the work with my engineer Brad, we fit together quite well, I think, and he could help me a lot so far. So yeah, I feel really confident with the team, and they work quite well.
Now, this is a really exciting year for you moving forward. You'll be in the F1 Academy this year representing the Stake F1 team. So how are things in preparation for that? You've just come back from the shakedown day, so how are things currently feeling?
It feels really, really good to try for an F1 team. I'm really proud to be a Sauber Academy driver, and we also worked together in the beginning of the season with a fitness and preparation day. And then we had the first track action in Barcelona last week, 3 days of testing with the F1 Academy car. And yeah, I could feel that I've learned a lot during the first 2 events in Abu Dhabi, so I was already there quite good prepared.
Now, racing in F4 UAE must be a real confidence booster for you as an athlete, because obviously you're working in an environment where there are 33 of the best young drivers at this level, and you're in amongst them on an even and equal playing field. Is that really good in terms of being able to continue that development of your upper body strength, of being in a very competitive field of drivers?
Of course, it's really tough. After Christmas, I struggled a little bit with my health. Especially in the beginning, I struggled a little bit, but I feel that I get stronger every race weekend. So yeah, it's a good practice.
And you've had to learn 2 completely new racetracks as well. Yas Marina and Dubai Autodrome, very different race circuits as well. How have you adapted to them? How has the championship evolved for you learning these new circuits?
To be honest, they are not new for me. I drove here already because I'm a bit older as the other guys. I drove already Lamborghini Super Trofeo 5 years ago, but it's, as I said, 5 years ago, so I couldn't remember so good. But especially in the second weekend in Abu Dhabi, I adapted quite good.
And a very different car to do so as well. The sports car is completely different to an F4. So what are the major differences in being able to figure out braking points, where you turn in for the apexes, when you get on the throttle? It must be like learning how to do it all over again.
Yes, it is, especially last year when I started again in F1 Academy. I did like 6 years now single-seater racing. So especially in the beginning with entry speed of corners and braking without ABS and less weight, and yeah, you have just so much more corner speed than in a GT car. But yeah, in the meanwhile, I got a lot of kilometers and I adapt quite well.
Now, for those who are not really sure about the relevance of F1 Academy, as a competitor being in there, just how much has it changed your profile in terms of being able to put yourself in front of some of the best teams in the world to start those conversations up again?
It's amazing to be part of this series because it's not only a women's series, it's a real support for women, because you have like a small amount, you have so much driving time, and you, as you said, you can drive for the best teams in their categories. So yeah, it's just a big change, and I think a really, really important step for women in motorsport.
So we have 3 more races to go here at Dubai Autodrome. You've had to reacclimatise after disappearing and coming back. I'm guessing jet lag and travel is obviously a tough thing to get over, but when you get yourself back into race trim again, what do you think you can do here for this last weekend of the championship?
Of course, I'm a bit disadvantaged because I didn't drove the first round here, and I also didn't do the test in December, so I have a little gap to close, but I give my best to improve as well as I can, and then I hope I can also finish as far to the front as I can.
Well, everybody back home, I'm sure, is watching in Germany and wanted to see you do well, so we wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll see you towards the front end. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Great to hear from Carrie Schreiner of the AGI Sport team. Great to see her back in action as well, having spent 2 weeks away from the paddock to acclimatise herself with her new role in the F1 Academy with the Stake F1 team supporting her. A great initiative as well to see young female talent move closer to the world of Formula One. I really hope that in my lifetime we're going to see some competitive women on the starting grid at Formula One. And here Carrie Schreiner has a chance to continue that journey. did a fair job yesterday in very difficult situations. It was very hot yesterday. The sand over the circuit is very difficult indeed at this point. And the crosswinds this morning have already started. They're not quite as intense as they're going to be later on today, but the track temperature, the air temperature is going to be quite intense as well. So there's a lot of variables coming into this race. And that is not even to take into consideration the fact that we've got a championship fight on our hands here. It is so tight heading into this last pair of races of the season. So much that can happen, so much that could potentially come to pass over the course of this final weekend of the championship. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. But now we can set off on the formation lap as the drivers are preparing for an exciting duel, the penultimate race of the season of the 2024 Formula 4 UAE Championship, the national series that takes so many people up the ranks of motorsport. And in previous years, we've had some amazing champions. Jonathan Aberdeen of South Africa, Charles Weerts of Belgium, Matteo Nannini, Francesco Pizzi and Enzo Trulli of Italy, Charlie Wirtz of Austria and James Wharton of Australia. Is that a problem for the pole sitter? That would be absolutely disastrous if Lucas Samalisto is in trouble before the race has even got underway, and it is indeed. So Lucas Samalisto is not moving. Well, this is absolutely disastrous for the pole position man. 12th in yesterday's race, and I'm afraid he's not going anywhere. So this is absolutely catastrophic. The man who's supposed to be starting from pole position, he's not going anywhere at all. Well, this is absolutely devastating. That means then essentially that the pole position now falls to Enzo Deligny. Oh no, wait, there is a race GP up at the front end of the field, so it must be the other one. It must be Jules Caranta then. Well, Jules Caranta is there as well. No, it's the 77. It's Enzo Ye who's supposed to be starting from 7th on the grid. So still disastrous for Enzo Ye. Well, I thought because it was on that side of the grid, I wondered if it was the man in pole position, but it's actually Enzo Ye who's in trouble. So bitter disappointment for the Italian. Well, thank goodness the Finns can now relax because their man is going to be on pole position. Lucas Samalisto will go from pole. Enzo Deligny in 2nd. Thomas Stolchemanis in 3rd. Championship leader Keanu Al-Azari in 4th position. And then in 5th place it's Deegan Fairclough from Jules Caranta. Sadly, Enzo Ye looks like he's not going to be taking up his position on the 4th row of the grid. Sorry for scaring you, sir. 72 division. I thought that was Lucas Samalisto initially. Apologies. Freddie Slater, 8th on the grid on row 4. Then Jack Beaton, 9th on the grid alongside Alex Powell. And then the 2 championship comeback kids, Rashid El Daheri, 11th on the grid, and Kia Nakamura Berta in 12th. 13th on the grid is Zach Skula. And then in 14th it is Dion Gauda. 15th for Thiago Rodriguez. 16th is the leading PHM AIX driver. That is Davide Larini. Matteo Quintarelli is 17th on the grid. Then Max Popov. Yvan David 19th, cruelly robbed of a reverse grid pole yesterday by a 5-second penalty. Should have started from the front in my opinion. 20th position is Sebastian Murray. 21st is Chuyan Pu. 22nd is Luca Shun. And then Nicolas Starty in 23rd, alongside Razor Sawerthan, the British driver from Bournemouth. Kamal Murad alongside the Frenchman Raphael Norak. Everett Stack, Gary Schreiner, Fu Yuhao, Alves Rodella, and then the 3 drivers that didn't complete the race yesterday. Gabriel Stilp, who will start at the back, along with Kai Darianani and Maxi Restrepo of Colombia. So a fascinating situation then for the contenders. It'll be a really tough situation as the championship leader, Keanu Al-Azari, takes up his residence on the front of the starting grid at P4. And it's been a bit of a weekend for the Al-Azari household. Yesterday over at Yas Marina in the UAE Rotax Championship, young Adam, 14 years of age, took his first win in senior on the Yas Marina circuit at the hairpin complex on the Formula 1 track. So well done to Adam Al-Azari, taking the victory yesterday in fine style, coached as he is by Callum Bradshaw, the former karting world champion. Now it's time for Keanu Al-Azari to go for glory here in Dubai, his home city. Lucas Samalisto on pole. Enzo Deligny in 2nd from Stolchemanis and Al-Azari. Then Fairclough, Caranta, Ye, Slater, Beaton, Powell, El Daheri and Nakamura Berta. Green flag flies at the back of the grid. Who is going to lead to the first corner? Can Samalisto outdrag Deligny? What can Al-Azari do from P4? Let's find out. We race in Dubai. And it's a great start from Samalisto, but a better start from Enzo Deligny. Deligny's going to charge forward to take the lead as Samalisto bogs down. Here comes Stolchamanis through to second position for the Prema. What about Al-Azhari? Can he make it to third around the outside? Well, Fairclough's going to get both of them. Fairclough into third. What another rocket launch of a start from Deegan Fairclough as he gets into third for the high-tech team. Fourth is Samalisto, fifth is Al-Azhari, and it's a terrific start as the battle rages for the Yazheed driver. Terrific launch from Deligny. He leads the way from Stolchamanis. Third for Fairclough, then Samalisto, Al-Azhari and Jules Caranta. That's one of them on by Falcons in seventh. I would guess that is Freddie Slater, having a great start already in front of Jack Beaton. So as the field works its way through, is everybody going to mix it on the first lap? There's a couple of modes as Al-Azhari goes for it on Samalisto and gets into fourth position. Great work from Keanu Al-Azhari, up to P4, one place away from the podium and definitely in with a good chance of increasing his championship lead. Deligny currently trying to shake off Samalisto, trying to shake off Stolchamanis, I should say, as the Red Bull colours for the Race GP team. Enzo Deligny looking strong as Al-Azhari now into fourth position. Around the outside goes Freddie Slater to try and make the bid there on Jules Caranta to get into the top six for the first time in this race. And there is Deligny in front of Stolchamanis and Fairclough. They're already starting to pull clear. Three different teams, Race GP, Prema and High-Tech. Three different nations as well, France, Latvia and Great Britain. Then it is Keanu Al-Azhari for the Yazheed Academy from the United Arab Emirates, doing a great job in P4 and looking to increase his lead in the championship with one race to go after this one. A little bit of jostling in the back of the field there, but Keanu Al-Azhari looks really dialed in, trying to close up on the top three. He was a few car lengths back in sector 2. Now he's right up there and it's side by side. That is Slater going wheel to wheel with Beaton, I do believe, as Al-Daheri goes wheel to wheel with Alex Powell. So some great dueling. Slater again trying to make the move on Jack Beaton into the final turn, and he's going to go for it. Beaton's going to try and hold it round the outside. The Australian has to go out wide. That should be Slater's move, but they're still going to be side by side. Beaton's going to be a wheel in front. And as they go down the straight, they'll still be side by side. Meanwhile, Al-Azhari's going to take on Fairclough as Stolchamanis starts to think about the move on Deligny. Slater to the inside of Beaton. Bit of a lock-up from both men. Is Slater going to get the move finished off here? Al-Azhari still going after Fairclough, and Beaton's gone wide. That's going to be enough for Slater to have the move. So Slater will have the move here on Jack Beaton. They've extended the runoff area on that part of the course, so now you have to go right to the end of the cones, which is halfway round the apex of turn 3, so it's impossible to gain an advantage. So Keanu Al-Azhari now sat there in fourth position, and Jack Beaton is struggling to keep Rashid Al-Daheri at bay now, having dropped back behind both Slater and Alex Powell. So there's some tough racing going on further back, but it's really close in the F4 UAE Championship. Skinny, low-profile tyres on a very dusty, sandy circuit, which is very hot with crosswinds. Definitely makes things very treacherous. Fairclough defending. He already knows that Al-Azhari is going to try and make the bid down to the hairpin. He senses the opportunity, so Al-Azhari is going to try and go slow in, fast out. Tries to draw level. Trying to catch out Deegan Fairclough and make him spend more attention on the rear view mirror than on the road in front of him. If Al-Azhari can sense the opportunity, he can dive for it on the inside. Keanu Al-Azhari gets into third position. Fairclough responds, goes slow in, fast out, hoping to get back alongside him as they go up towards the left-hand hairpin. But Keanu Al-Azhari has pulled off a sweet move there on Fairclough. He can finish it off in the left-hander. As they draw level side by side with each other, can he finish off the move? Into the hairpin. Al-Azhari's there, but Fairclough's going to come back at him for the inside. If Al-Azhari can keep the car present to the far side, the back end steps out. Fairclough absolutely muscles his way back in front of Al-Azhari, and Al-Azhari's now going to be loose. Here comes the chance from Samalisto to get through, and Caranta will be there as well. Freddie Slater watching this will be delighted as Al-Azhari goes wide. Gets back in on the road alongside Luca Samalisto. So Deligny leads. Stolchamanis second. Then Fairclough, Samalisto, Al-Azhari. Al-Azhari's trying to pull a wheel back in front. Here comes Caranta, trying to take on both of them. Got to be careful. Al-Azhari drives right round the outside. Brilliant from the boy from Dubai. Excellent. And now Freddie Slater's trying to take on the Race GP twins. Caranta on the inside of Samalisto, and the Frenchman gets alongside. But is he going to be able to sustain that? Samalisto will be to the inside of the left. He can't finish the move. And now Freddie Slater on the curbs, trying to dive up the inside of Jules Caranta. Can he finish it off? They almost bang wheels, and Caranta will hold it for the moment. Slater's got to try something else. Amazing racing so far, as Al-Azhari keeps himself in fourth position. ahead of Slater, who is P7, Nakamura Berta in P11, and Rashid Al-Daheri in P10. Amazing racing so far, as Kia Nakamura Berta again tries the move here on Rashid Al-Daheri down to the hairpin at the end of the back straight. But Deligny and Stolchamanis are controlling the pace. Fairclough in third, Al-Azhari in fourth now, in front of Samalisto, Caranta and Freddie Slater. So many battles still to come in this race. We're not too far away. It'll be really, really tricky to see how this all plays out. But certainly Samalisto has pulled clear. Look at the battle for sixth position as up in the air goes Caranta. The nose goes skyward. And Slater has got alongside him enough to really go for it. Beaton is in there. And so too is Alex Powell. So Alex Powell trying to go the long way round the outside of the Australian. Are we going to see a really good dice between those two? Let's keep it focused. Yeah, and now up to sixth position has come Slater as Powell drifts wide onto the sand. It is so tough to hold the car once you get off onto the runoff area. It's not just tarmac there, it's sand as well. And it's like driving on ice when you're in these cars. So Powell is going to have Nakamura Berta around the outside of him. And that will put Nakamura Berta into the points. So Al-Azhari up to fourth and Alex Powell slipping all the way to 11th, forced there by Gilles Caranta. There was no contact, but there was definitely no love lost. And now Nakamura Berta is going to try the move on Beaton. He thinks better of it. Beaton and Al-Daheri get very close in turn one, but Beaton leaves the space and Al-Daheri finishes the move around the outside. Nice move from the Emirati from Abu Dhabi. Excellent work from Rashid Al-Daheri. He puts himself now into 8th position. He's going to go after Gilles Caranta. 21 minutes left of this race. Still no safety car. Great work from the F4 drivers in a reverse grid race too. Now, it would be wonderful if we could get a green to checkered in F4 UAE in this particular championship fight. It really is very close. So let's have a look again. This is where Caranta essentially gave Alex Powell no room to maneuver. Watch what happens to the car. He's in the sand at this point. Look at the back end. Look at the front end washing out. It's essentially like driving on sheet ice once you get to that point. So very, very tricky indeed, as Alex Powell was basically a drunk dad at a wedding on roller skates for 2.5 seconds. And there is Alex Powell and Dion Gauda getting into the fight there as well. That's Davide Larini working his way further forward. I'm very impressed indeed with Davide. And again, look at the slide as the driver, that's Yvan David, I think, going off the road. The back end slides out massively and you get onto that sand and it is essentially like an ice rink. You've got no grip, no traction whatsoever. So incredible from David to not only catch the car, but get it back on in the middle of the gaggle without causing any upset for anybody. It is a ruthless race at the moment. And look at Al-Azhari, he's got right up to Deegan Fairclough as Larini gets the move there on the inside of Zach Skula. So good work from the Italian, Davide Larini, who you would guess is the son of Nicola Larini, and you would be right, doing a fantastic job. And he's now putting pressure on Dion Gauda. This is only race number 5 in this car, and Davide Larini is doing a terrific job. Trying to shake off the toe. Alex Powell doesn't want Gauda in the slipstream. Gauda doesn't want Larini in the slipstream. Meanwhile, Rashid Al-Daheri is going after Gilles Caranta, the Frenchman. Down to the first corner. Al-Daheri taking a slightly wider berth, but then tightens up the radius. That should sort things out nicely for turn 3. Here comes Keanu Al-Azhari, hunting down Deegan Fairclough. Deegan Fairclough would love a podium finish after a very stressful opening part of the season. Fabulous young talent, Deegan Fairclough. Worked his way up from the karting clubs of the UK. Found himself in the Junior Saloons world and in the Fiesta Juniors world. Found himself in the esports world. A very competitive sim racer as Deegan Fairclough. Made his way into British F4 with the Rocket programme. Was in British F4 last year, was top 5 in the British Championship, and is hoping to go and win the British F4 Championship in 2024. Looking very strong here in high tech. He's had a lot of bad luck this season, but it's great to see him mixing it at the sharp end of the field. A very deserving driver to get on a podium. Gilles Caranta still trying to hold off Rashid Al-Daheri and Jack Beaton. Jack Beaton for the AGR Sport team doing a great job. The Aussie team, first time ever racing in the F4 UAE Championship. And they managed to get themselves a reverse grid pole in their second ever race, a podium in their second ever race. And Jack Beaton proved it wasn't a fluke. He's been doing some great things with this team this year. Now there's a report to the stewards, it's Chuyan Pu, the Chinese driver, but not respecting the road instructions at turns 1 and 2. So Chuyan Pu could well end up having to explain himself in front of the officials later. Zach Skula still battling with Davide Larini. So Davide Larini doing his best to work his way forward. Hasn't quite been able to make it happen yet. Through they come. Jack Beaton has a little bit of pressure now from Kiya Nakamura-Berta in P10. It's only good enough for 1 point though for Kiya Nakamura-Berta. After doing all the hard work with the win yesterday, he can really do with more than 10th place. He's still got plenty of time though, 17.5 minutes. Having worked his tyres very carefully yesterday, he's got more of a chance to continue with that kind of trend today. So down to the first corner, Carranza still holding his nerve in front of Aldehieri. Then it is Beaton and Kiya Nakamura-Berta. These are the final 4 cars in the points paying positions at the moment. Still a long way to go. It'll be a really tricky situation for all of the contenders to see how it all mixes up. Carranza. Just doesn't want to turn in. This is what we were talking about the intensity of the heat in these conditions. The tyres are just screaming at the drivers. These GT tyres that have had relatively good conditions for the first 4 weekends, Yas Marina's rain notwithstanding. But here, the temperature has just skyrocketed by about 6 to 7 degrees, and as a result, the intensity of the track temperature, the added problems of crosswinds with sand, it just makes these tyres very hard to manage. But this man, Enzo Deligny, the Frenchman, for the Red Bull Junior program, coached and masterminded by the former 2-time world karting champion Lorenzo Trevisanuto, one of the greatest racing drivers ever never to set foot in a single-seater Formula car, in my opinion. Doing a fantastic job. Enzo Deligny really looking like he could be one of the next Red Bull big things. Doing a great job. Remember, this is only his 3rd weekend in the championship. He didn't start the year in the F4 UAE Championship. His first weekend was here in Dubai 3 weeks ago. 5-second time penalty for Chu Yanpu. 5-second time penalty for Chu Yanpu. Now we're going to see a replay. Oh, that is Gabriel Stilp going up in the air, clattering into the side of Thiago Rodriguez, the Macau driver. And I think Gabriel Stilp is going to be out of the race. So that is a big problem for the British driver who won race 2 at Yas Marina. So Gabriel Stilp, I'm afraid, looks like he's going to be, well, whether he's out of the race or not, I don't know. I think he just went straight on and then decided to U-turn back onto the circuit. Yet more bad luck and misfortune for Gabriel Stilp. At least when it rains, he can show the world what he can do. One of the best teenagers in the world in the wet. Look at Beaton, absolutely good, running over the corrugation on the way to the pit exit, determined to get back past Kiya Nakamura-Berta, slides in at turn 1, surely he won't hold that. Nakamura-Berta gets back through. Well, Jack Beaton determined to go for the overtake, Nakamura-Berta leaving him no room, so he found room of his own. He still couldn't quite finish off the move as Nakamura-Berta emerges in 9th place. And that's an extra point. They all count, particularly in a championship showdown like this one. Going to be so tricky to call who is going to get this title. At the moment, Keanu Al-Azari is on course for a 4th place finish. That would be enough for 12 championship points. Then Freddie Slater is on course for 6th place. That would be enough for 6 championship points. So Al-Azari's lead would go from 2 points to 8 points. And then Kiya Nakamura-Berta on course for 2, so that would keep him there or thereabouts. But it would still be mighty close quarter stuff. Tricky situation at the moment. It's so hard to tell. When we've got the 3rd race coming up later, who is going to be champion? I don't know. I genuinely couldn't tell you. One thing I will say, though, is that whoever of the drivers does win the championship, they will absolutely have deserved it. Kiya Nakamura-Berta has fought back valiantly after adversity. Freddie Slater has been so strong in these reverse grid races of getting himself 3 or 4 positions up, staying as consistent as possible. Yaz was a blip, but it's not his main character. And Keanu Al-Azari has been so fantastic, building this team around him, building a great unit, and really rising in confidence every race weekend. It was so wonderful to see him take victories at Yas Marina. Now he's got a chance to win the title on his home circuit. He actually has been working so hard to get this done. He even raced in the Dubai 24 Hours 3 weeks ago as the youngest man in the entire grid. And for most of that race, during his stints, he was actually the fastest Porsche driver as well. So Enzo Deligny leads the way, looking good for his first reverse grid victory, his first win in the F4 UAE Championship. That would be great news for Enzo Deligny. And then in second, Thomas Stolchemanis looking good for his first podium finish. And then Deegan Faircraft, hopeful that he will get a podium finish as well. Excellent performances from the drivers so far. Deegan Fairclough has had a podium finish already, don't forget. Second in Yas Marina in the first race, I should say, weekend. Enzo Dellini's had a second place but hasn't had a win. Stolchmanis hasn't had a podium, so it could be a very joyous podium. But in terms of the title battle, it's going to be so close. Chiara Malazzari has 150 points. Nakamura Berta has 148. Freddie Slater has 145. So it is ridiculously close in the championship fight. And with Chiara Malazzari set to finish in 4th place, he'll have 12. Slater will have 6. Nakamura Berta will have 2. This is Powell versus Gauda. So this is already looking pretty good. That would put Alazzari on 162, by the way. It would put Nakamura Berta on 150, and it would put Freddie Slater on 151. So second position in the championship would change hands, and the championship lead Alazzari would have would be just 11 points going into the final race of the season. It really is that tight. And it could be anybody's. Oh, bit of a moment there from Max Popov, I think, as he battles with his teammate Davide Lurini. So they're having a real mix-up of the races there, and having a great battle as well with Matteo Quintarelli and Chu Yan Pu, the XL driver. So Enzo Dellini still leads the way here from Thomas Stolchmanis. We're looking a little bit further back, just outside the points. There's Powell and there's Gauda, just outside the points-paying positions, unfortunately, 11th and 12th. They've certainly had to learn about F4 UAE the hard way. Dion Gauda, of course, in his second season in the category. But he was very ill at the start of the year, and I think that's really hampered some of his development process. Now, look in the background. We've got a terrific duel going on across the line here. That is Quintarelli, Lurini, and Popov. So Matteo Quintarelli trying to hold this. Oh, no, wait, that's Ivan David. My apologies. Ivan David trying to mix it with these BHM AIX drivers, and he's going to try and skate across the road. That's beautifully done to squeeze Davide Lurini. Lurini's got to take the wide line. So he'll drop in behind Chu Yan Pu. And that puts Ivan David up into 15th position. So that definitely elevates the Sri Lankan further up the road. He's been an amazing comeback kid. He's just had no fortunes on Fridays, where the qualifying really could give him an opportunity. But in terms of his racecraft, he's probably the driver who's overtaken more drivers this year than any other competitor in the F4 UAE field. So it's quite astonishing what he's been able to do. He's just not been able to translate his great drives into as many points as he should have had. And let's have a replay of that. This is David just squeezing Davide Lurini in the first turn. And Lurini just washing out. He suddenly realizes, yeah, I've got no room. I'm going to have to take the escape road. So Davide Lurini goes wide, and obviously you have to rejoin on the other side of the cones. You can't join halfway through. There's Reza Swerthen trying to keep up with Kamal Murad. So Murad and Swerthen trying to continue their little battle as we continue. Now back towards the front. Look how close Alazzari has got to Deegan Fairclough, and look how close Fairclough's got to Stolchmanis. This is the tyre effect. So they've been driving quite a long way through this race now, 20 minutes with no safety car period to cool the tyres down. So now they're really struggling. Look at Fairclough, the back end trying to overtake the front. The grip is really dropping now. So this all comes down to feel, it all comes down to instinct. And as a result, Alazzari is closing up on Fairclough, Fairclough's closing up on Stolchmanis. This is really tricky. One mistake and the race changes completely. Into turn one. And I'm not kidding, drivers have been talking to me about it. You're literally dancing on the edge of what these cars can do. One simple gust of wind, one bit of sand on the tyres, one missed apex, one lock-up, and you are absolutely on your own for about 25 seconds, desperately wrestling with the car to try and get it back. Anybody who criticises these drivers for being out of sorts or being in a difficult position, you genuinely haven't got a clue how hard this is. So difficult. Add to the fact that these guys are 15, 16, 17 years old. It is an absolute mission to be at the front of this field. It's tough to mix it in the midfield as well. There's Ivan David, still battling away with the PHM AIX quintet. I think that's Davide Lurini that's now got ahead of him for the moment. It might be Max Popov, actually. So already some exceptional performances, as that is Sebastian Murray now getting himself into the mix, the high-tech driver. Born in Scotland, they live, the family, in Dubai. And Sebastian Murray's younger brother Max is doing a fantastic job in karting as well. It's amazing, isn't it? These guys are doing a fantastic job, and in a few years' time we'll be talking about Adam Al-Azhari, we'll be talking about Max Murray in the world of F4 UAE before too long. But a sensational performance so far from these young contenders. There is Ivan David, still trying to mix it with Davide Larini and Max Popov. So the car in front is the Italian. Oh no, that is Max Popov. He's got ahead of both David and Larini. So Davide Larini, the young son of Nicola Larini, one of many drivers who have continued on the family dynasty. Later on in the Formula Regional Middle East race, you're going to get to see Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. going off pole position. It'll be fabulous to see how he gets on. But up at the front, Enzo Deligny is now only 1 second ahead of Thomas Stoltemanis. The gap has come down. And certainly on the last lap, he was 0.2 of a second slower than Stoltemanis. Fairclough was on a 2:03.9. He was slower than them all. And Al-Azhari is there or thereabouts as well, so it really is tough. It's a battle of wits now, as much as it is a battle of looking after the car. As Murray leads Thiago Rodriguez, Luke Gaishun, and Chuyan Bu. So he's up in 18th position now, Sebastian Murray. Working his way further forward, battles all the way through the grid. Great to see. And I have to say, it's very important that you win your battle out on track as well, even though it's not for the win. You've still got to learn. The junior ladder is all about what you learn, how you develop. So behind Murray, Chu, Rodriguez and Liu, you've also got Kemal Murad, Reza Sawerdhan, Kai Dorianani, Rafael Narak, Nicolas Stati, Kari Schreiner, Maxim Restrepo, Alvis Modella, Fuyu Hao, Everett Stack and Enzo Ye, who has not been able to make up the ground he was hoping to, having started the race from the pit lane. And Gabriel Stilp is indeed out of the race, I can tell you. He had too much damage after that little clatter in from Lucas Schoeners. Up the inside, Freddie Slater has a go at Luca Samalisto for 5th position. He wants those crucial 2 more points that could really give him that little bit of extra momentum going into race 3. Especially when you consider that Freddie Slater is going to be starting race 3 ahead of Keanu Al-Azhari. If he can gain a couple more points off Lucas Samalisto before the race ends, that really benefits him in the championship fight. This could go right down to the wire, this championship. It won't be decided in this race for any stretch, but it will definitely be decided in the final race of the year later, and it could come down to 1 point here, 1 point there. 5.5 minutes on the clock. When the clock runs down to 0, there will be an additional lap after that. And I am stunned, delighted and euphoric that we have yet to have a safety car in this race. It has been a pure grind for the drivers in these very tricky situations on tyres. But these guys have done an amazing job with it. Take into context that these guys are between the ages of 15 and 18. We haven't had a single safety car in this race yet. And I hope we're not going to get one. Samalisto swarming around in front of Freddie Slater, trying to shake him off. But Freddie Slater is not the kind of man you intimidate easily. Rock hard, ironclad, this man. British karting champion, European karting champion at both IAMI and OK level. He won the World Championship as a junior. On a couple of occasions, he's been the king of it all, including the European KZ2 champion, which is, as far as I'm concerned, Formula One without the money. And it is absolutely incredible what Freddie Slater has done in such a short space of time. He dominated Ginetta Juniors last year, while also racing in the European KZ2 Championship, which he won, whilst also making his F4 debut. He was literally the man with the Midas touch in 2023. Looks like 2024 is going to be no different. Samalisto swarming around all over the place. I wonder if it's a race GP tactic, because Caranta was doing that yesterday. Samalisto's doing it today. Desperately trying to keep Freddie Slater at bay. Slater's trying every trick in the book to get past Lucas Samalisto. Come on, man! Point the car in the right direction. Freddie Slater getting frustrated. But the more Samalisto swerves, the more he overcooks the tyres, the less grip he's going to have for the remainder of this race. Slater decides to go slow in, fast out to try and draw level with the Finn. The Finn's not going to give him the opportunity on the left side, so Slater could try and drive around him on the outside. He switches to the right-hand side, trying to get level. Samalisto absolutely determined to keep Slater behind him. This is great racecraft from both Samalisto and Slater. Slater sold him a dummy, and he's got him! Brilliant from Freddie Slater. Superb into P5. That was a masterclass bit of driving from Freddie Slater, right when it matters too. P5 with 3 minutes to go. He's only going to lose 2 points to Al-Azhari. That is absolutely crucial, and that could be the difference at the end of race 3 between second and first in the championship. So important for Slater to get that done. Meanwhile, Kia Nakamura-Berta has caught up to Caranta and Al-Daheri. He can gain big points here as well. Things are about to get interesting in the final couple of laps of this race as Al-Daheri and Nakamura-Berta cling on to their chances of a championship. They've got to make it work to the best of their ability, but it's going to be so difficult to predict how this is going to go. I think Rashid Al-Daheri is about to be counted out of the championship fight. He hasn't quite been able to transfer this into a race-winning display, but he's certainly given it a magnificent fight. And if you think of the couple of occasions when he's had technical problems, as Slater goes clean off the road, recovers it, that just shows you how tough it is on tyres today. Fairclough swarming around. I think he's just trying to generate temperature in the tyres again. Just trying to find some grip out there. Swarming around behind Stolchamanis and in front of Al-Azhari, just to let people know, I'm coming for it, I want this. But this is stalemate between the top 4. It's so close. Anso Deligny trying to hold on to this lead in front of Thomas Stolchamanis and Deegan Fairclough. But this is all a game of chess at over 100 miles an hour. Who's going to be able to sustain this for the entirety of the race distance? We've still got 2 laps to go at the end of this one by my maths. So it's going to be so tricky to call who is going to get this championship between Keanu Al-Azhari, Freddie Slater and Kia Nakamura-Berta. But it looks to me as though we're going to go into the last race of the year with 3 contenders now rather than 4. To be fair, we came into the weekend with a mathematical chance of 6, so it's been a very exciting weekend up to this point. But now we're going to get to see how this turns out. I should point out that Alex Powell still had a mathematical chance coming into this race. Sadly now he is outside the points. Not his own fault. He's had a tough race to try and combat, but he had a 45-point deficit to Al-Azhari with 50 remaining coming into this race, so mathematically it was still there. But it's now going to be Powell and Al-Daheri who wave goodbye to the championship fight. But they've had a fantastic season and they can be very proud of what they've done. Both of them have been race winners. Both of them have been consistent point scorers. Both of them have shown that they've got amazing F1 future credentials. So now it comes down to the last race of the season. Well, there's still a battle going on here as Ivan David closes up on Zach Skula, but he's also dueling away with Max Popov and Matteo Quintarelli. This is a very hard race from Popov and Ivan David. They've charged their way forward, trying to gain a few more places before the end of the race. So let's see what Popov and David can do. They've caught up to Skula and Quintarelli. So there's a good chance of something here now. Ivan David is swarming around all over the back of Max Popov. Meanwhile, back at the front, 3, 2, 1, time's up. Oh, and that's the move from Al-Azhari. Al-Azhari's going for Fairclough for the podium, and he's got him. He's got the move. Now he's going to have Fairclough to his inside again. Al-Azhari runs wide. He's got to try to hold on to this if he wants the podium. Al-Azhari, what a move! 3rd position for Keanu Al-Azhari. If he can hold on to this from Deegan Fairclough, the podium will be his, and that will give him an extra 3 points in the championship. It's so important for Al-Azhari to finish this off. Fairclough is making him work for it. He's back in front, down to the braking zone. Al-Azhari goes long. He's not going to be able to get back up on the inside. Oh, Keanu Al-Azhari is absolutely rolling up his sleeves. He wants the championship. He knows he can push for it. He knows he can gain 3 more points on Slater if he gets past Fairclough. Fairclough is going to be like a brick wall, and he's drifted wide. Al-Azhari will have a run on him on the inside line, surely. Fairclough trying to squeeze into the wall. Into the last lap we go. This is critical. This is for the championship. Al-Azhari tries to make the bid on Fairclough. Fairclough tries to come across him, but Fairclough's going to be 1 wheel in front. Is that going to be enough? Round the outside. Al-Azhari tries. Fairclough tries to squeeze him, and Al-Azhari keeps it on the road as much as he can. Fairclough's going to be back in front by a wheel. That will sort out the move again as Al-Azhari continues to push. Fairclough squeezes him. Keanu Al-Azhari desperately trying to get on the podium here. 3 more points will put him in a magnificent position heading into the final race of the season. Oh my goodness. Neither driver is going to relent. Neither driver is going to give up. Al-Azhari trying to tighten the radius onto the back straight. If Keanu Al-Azari can gain these extra 3 points, he goes into the final race of the year with a 14-point lead. It's a big opportunity, and Keanu Al-Azari knows it. Fairclough is trying to shake him off. Down to the braking zone, onto the sand for Fairclough nearly. Can Al-Azari go slow in, fast out? It's going to be tough to get that radius tightened up, but Al-Azari isn't thinking about the left, he's thinking about the right, the one that's approaching us. Can he find the opportunity? Al-Azari will be pushed all the way, and Fairclough is actually backing Al-Azari into Slater. Slater is now part of this battle. Al-Azari tries again. Slater has caught them up on the final lap. Anything could happen from here on in. Deligny and Stojamanis have driven away from the fight for third position. It's going to be a terrific win for Deligny, a brilliant podium for Stojamanis, but who's going to be third? Al-Azari trying to upset the balance from Fairclough at the top of the hill, and here comes Slater trying to muscle his way into the battle in the final couple of bends of the race. Keep your wits about you, boys. Al-Azari's got to make sure Slater doesn't drive round him. At the line, Deligny's going to take the victory. Deligny wins in fine style. Stojamanis is second. Slater's going to have the run on Al-Azari. He's going to beat him to the line. Slater pops up in front of Al-Azari. He snatched fourth place away from the man from Dubai. Freddie Slater has taken a position away from the championship leader on the last lap of the penultimate race of the season. Suddenly, the pendulum, the momentum swings in Freddie Slater's favour. Here's the replay of the duel between Al-Azari and Fairclough. That's how we got to this point in the first place. Fairclough off the road, but keeping his foot in. And Al-Azari having to give best to Fairclough on the way out of the corner. This is so tough. There could be a real conversation about this at the end of the race. But whatever you say, Enzo Deligny has driven beautifully up front. The Red Bull Junior has only been here since round 3. This is only his 8th race of the season, and he has come through in majestic fashion from the front row of the grid. Enzo Deligny is the latest new winner, and look, he's enjoying the flow. He's enjoying the slowing down lap, weaving from side to side. Enzo Deligny can be very proud of what he has achieved here in Dubai. And that means that both the Red Bull young guns that have raced here in the Middle East, Arvid Lindblad in Formula Regional and Enzo Deligny in F4, have now taken race wins out here in the United Arab Emirates. So everybody at Red Bull can be very happy with what their boys have done. Epic, epic work from Thomas Stojamanis. Only his 5th start in the championship. And he was in a car that was down on power last time out at Yas Marina. In only his 2nd race in full equipment, he's got a podium finish. Very good work indeed from the Latvian. In 3rd position, it is Deegan Fairclough, but in 4th, it is Freddie Slater, who snatches a place of Keanu Al-Azari on the final lap. In fact, it was the final corner of the final lap. And so Slater actually gains 2 points on Al-Azari to drop his deficit to him to just 3 points with 1 race to go. Enzo Deligny in front of Thomas Stojamanis and Deegan Fairclough. And I'm out of puff. 4th is Freddie Slater in front of Keanu Al-Azari by 23 thousandths of a second. Can you believe it? Samalisto, Caranta, Aldaheri, Nakamura Berta, and Jack Beaton in the points. What a race. What a duel. Green to checkered. No safety car needed at all. A proper race, a battle royale here in Dubai. And that's how to win, Enzo. Superb. Absolutely masterclass from the Red Bull youngster. He was a star in Spanish F4 last year. He's come for a little bit of extra tuition here in the Middle East. And what a drive, giving Race GP their first win in F4 UAE. They have taken the title in Formula Regional. They've had to wait a long time for a win in F4, but they've done it. And for Thomas Stojamanis from Latvia, this is a boy you're going to be hearing about a lot in 2024. He's been under the radar so far these last few weeks. Now a star in the making. And there is the British boy wonder, Deegan Fairclough, wrestling his way to the podium. Superb racecraft from him today, keeping back Slater and Al-Azari all the way to the line. So difficult to do when you're battling with the vanguard of the championship fight. But that all means, ladies and gentlemen, that going into the last race of the year, there are just 3 points between Keanu Al-Azhari and Freddie Slater for the championship fight. What a showdown it's going to be this afternoon. And between the two of them, I genuinely couldn't tell you who's going to be champion. It is so, so close. And with a 9th place finish, Kiya Nakamura-Berta is only able to score 2 points, and that puts him on a tally of 150. He'll be 10 points back from Al-Azhari, and he'll be 7 back from Slater. So it's not out of the question that Kiya Nakamura-Berta could win this title, especially considering that Nakamura-Berta is going to be starting that last race of the year from pole position. It really is going to be a 3-man duel. There is Deegan Fairclough with the family who have travelled out from the UK to be with him. His family, his best friends, they have come here to see him do a great job, and it's galvanised him to a superb podium drive. I really hope that makes up for the disappointment of Yas Marina when his 3 teammates were basking in the glory of the wet. He was out of luck. He's bounced back in style this time. Great to see him on the podium. He deserves to be there. Well, this is absolutely fantastic. We've got a 3-man brawl for the championship now. Keanu Al-Azhari, Freddie Slater, and Kiya Nakamura-Berta. Whoever wins the championship, it's going to be amazing. But it could come down to the very last lap of the very last race of this amazing F4 UAE Championship season. Well done to Race GP. They finally get a win in the F4 UAE Championship. But goodness knows how this championship is going to play out. It could be anybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolutely incredible battle in the second race of F4 UAE 2024 here at the 5th round of the championship. Now we get to celebrate the podium in fantastic fashion, as it's great to see three very fresh faces coming to the podium. In third position for the United Kingdom, Deegan Fairclough. A great run from the high-tech Pulsate driver, some fabulous battles out there on the circuit, and a very deserving podium here in Dubai, race 2. In second position for Latvia, Thomas Stolchamanis. A great performance in only his second race weekend to grab a podium here in race 2. An epic performance from young Thomas. But your race winner for France, Enzo Deligny. The Red Bull Junior giving Race GP their first F4 UAE win of the season, and in fantastic fashion too. Now it is my honor to invite the General Head of Commercial, Tarek El Gamal, here at Dubai Autodrome to present the trophies to our drivers on the rostrum. And what a fantastic performance it has been for them all. In third position for the United Kingdom and high-tech Pulsate, Deegan Fairclough. And in second position for Latvia and Prema Racing, Thomas Stolchamanis. And finally, your race winner for France and Race GP, Enzo Deligny. Finally, the Rookie Cup victory goes to our Latvian man in second position, Thomas Stolchamanis. A fabulous performance from our drivers. They've been absolutely terrific. And great to see them in the penultimate race of the season. Whether we'll see them on the podium again in 2024 here in the Middle East is yet to be seen, but they've definitely deserved the chance to be there at the end of the second race. With one more to go and a championship to fight for, it's going to be so close. Just 10 points separate the top 3 in the championship. It could go anybody's way. Ladies and gentlemen, Deegan Fairclough, Thomas Stolchamanis, and your race winner, Enzo Deligny. And I think that's a good idea, Tarek. It's better to get out of the way because these boys are going to celebrate in style. Are they going to spray the suits? Probably not. They might just keep it low-key for this one. They've got race suits to look after, you see. So they'll get busy with the fizzy later, I'm sure. But fabulous to see these drivers doing such a great job. Wonderful to see Deegan Fairclough, Thomas Stolchamanis and Enzo Deligny on the podium. There's more great action on the way. As you can hear, the engines are fired up, ready for Formula Regional Middle East. The championship may already be won, but there are still 2 great races to go for, and Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. will line up on pole position for that. Join us in just a few minutes when Formula Regional continues. The F4 UAE title fight is later this afternoon. Who's going to be champion? Your guess is as good as mine.